But if my eyes don't work, I can't even see. It's like wearing a blast shield. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails. I'm going to talk about 5v5 core basic teams today, folks. We're going to use my alternate account to show you guys what's going on with that. I have 3 Galactic Legends on that account, and I will show you all the different teams that I'm going to use. I swim around in Kyber 2. I dropped to Kyber 3 one time intentionally, but otherwise I've been in Kyber 2 the whole time. I beat teams with 7 Galactic Legends pretty consistently, and whereas this roster does definitely have flaws, it also has a lot of strengths if you play it the way I have designed it to. And I think that there's a lot of things that I can explain to you on how to use my roster, how to use your roster to the greatest advantage. And it's been a lot of fun. This is the account that I do big game hunting on, as in we only want to do off meta encounters if possible. You know, we have a couple Galactic Legends because the game is kind of bent that way to demand Galactic Legends, but trying to, you know, use as many off metas as possible. So this video is always intended to be a little longer. I try to explain the entire mode a little bit more, the overall strategy of it, and so that's basically what we're going to be doing, guys. The other videos I try to keep at around 20-ish minutes. This one goes as long as it needs to. Other things do that too, but here's the thing, folks. It's going to be fun. Fun to say thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all of your support. I truly appreciate all of the support, as I just said. You guys don't know how much it means to me. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And for those of you who want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, mount the algorithm, folks. It's there for the mounting. There's not a reason it should be there unless to be mounted. Yes, I do have a degree in English. I realize you couldn't tell it just by hearing that sentence, or probably most of my sentences, but I do actually have my undergrad in English, so enjoy that. You can chew on that, whatever that means. You can't. It's not food. You can't chew on it. So, here we are. Whoa, we're in the game. Madness. Here we are. We're at 8.6 million GP, guys. I just can't get over, like, we're starting to pass a lot of these rosters that have 6 or 7 Galactic Legends. We only have 3. But there's hidden depths on this squad. So, I was originally going to make a video showing, like, I was going to make a video showing all of these teams without any Galactic Legends at all, and what I discovered was it just gets real weird trying to explain, like, okay, here's how you make a Jabba team, but without Jabba. Like, what do you do with Hutt Cartel? And most people aren't getting the Hutt Cartel team unless they want to get unless they want to get Jabba. And similarly with Kenobi, like, you can put Cat with other teams, but then, like, if you don't have Kenobi to go with Cat, then Cat starts missing with the rest of your roster, because she's gonna go in a lot of different squads that, I mean, makes the squads better, but you kind of build around those squads. Like, Cat can go with Padme, and you can make a whole Padme team, but then you're gonna steal other characters from other teams, and it's gonna mess up the whole lineup. And so I think just assuming that people have these 3 Galactic Legends won't really hurt things. Maybe once we get, like, Sith the Eternal Emperor or something, we can start deviating from this, the way I'm operating on, building squads and stuff. But I'm trying to do, I'm checking the unique only box, and there's only a few characters that are going to be replicated, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi, old Ben, whatever. He has 2 different places, and in fact, he kind of wants to go with Jedi Master Luke as well. He's a hot commodity, folks. Everyone wants him. I mean, and not just Reva, and not just for the reasons you might think. So here's the thing, Jabba team. I don't love Boba here as my 5th. Once I get Embo worked on a little bit more, I can do that. Boba is just nice to be able to be a plug-and-play character. I don't have a specific use for him otherwise, but I mean, this is like the core 4 characters on the Jabba squad, and I'm trying to get them more relics. Right now I'm trying to save a lot of relic materials and stuff. I just got Savage up to relics, so I'm not saving every single thing, but now I have 2 weeks of just not spending any gear on anything because I'll be unlocking Reva soon and I need her. Therefore, I don't have as many relics as I would like. However, I want this whole team to be relic 8, if possible, except for Chrysanthemum and Jabba. I want them to be 9, and Boba doesn't really factor into that. We want Embo as the 5th, most likely, but this team is going to be on defense for me. We'll see. I've never had a Galactic Legend on defense for me before. We'll see if this actually makes any kind of a difference in my matchups, if people stumble on it, if they just don't miss a beat. I'll be very interested to see, because last 5v5 season we didn't have Jabba. We had 2 Galactic Legends, and we still went, I think I went like 7-2 last season, last 5v5 season. So, I mean, with the Galactic Legend defending, maybe we'll even do better. Who frickin' knows, guys? We also have, I'll tell you who knows. The Shadow knows. Maybe the Nose knows. Who knows? But we've got Jedi Master Kenobi, and here's the weird part, guys. So the Qui-Gon team really does print wins, even at lower relics, man. So looking at my history, Bad Batch still beat this team even when they were slower, because I don't have enough relics on the team. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi at relic 8, Jedi Knight Anakin at relic 8 would kill as long as I outspeed with that team, with my Qui-Gon team, with the 3 like main characters, then they'll kill every Bad Batch team that comes out here. Like no question, they just do. I just don't do enough damage, so that you'll get some weird results where like 2 or 3 of the Bad Batch are dead, but they still win because I just don't have enough hitting power. So that's a relics issue, and that's one of the issues, one of the things that this free-to-play, or mostly free-to-play account really kind of struggles with. But, you know, and that we've talked about that in a lot of other videos. We just don't have... I have everyone at Relic 5, if possible. Really trying to get everyone Relic 5 so we can use crons with them. That's part of the strength of this account, is using data crons to off-meta things, you know, to be able to beat Galactic Legends with things that aren't Galactic Legends. But... yeah, this is this squad with Qui-Gon. It's very strong. If you could put more relics on it, even better. Just keep in mind, Ki-Adi-Mundi is plus 80 speed because of his stance, plus his Zeta and Qui-Gon's lead, and then everyone else is plus 60 speed because of Ki-Adi-Mundi's Zeta and Qui-Gon's lead. And so you want them to be faster than your opponent's Bad Batch Echo, which I think every match last season they were. I just sometimes still lost to them. Still got a ton of holds with them last season, like 5 or 6, something like that, which is a lot for this account. Now, this team, however, the reason I'm talking about the Qui-Gon team instead of the Jedi Master Kenobi team is it makes for a really strange Kenobi squad, and so you have to be kind of cautious, folks. I think it's about to get... It's about to get weird, because this squad is nowhere near as strong as if it had Kenobi on it and Snips on it. Trying to take down like a Jabba team or whatever is significantly harder with Mace and R2-D2. Much harder. Even though Cat is pretty strong. Like you can see, we only have Relic 5 on Cat, 5 on Padme, because I don't have Lord Vader to force me up to 8. And should get Lord Vader unlocked just so I can get Mace Windu more relics, and same with Padme. And now I don't know if Mace actually needs more than 5, in fact. Maybe it's just like a 4. It doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter, folks. But I'm going to, I think, pretty soon, I think I'm going to be shifting away from this Qui-Gon team. I don't know that for sure. And you may end up just seeing that it's here for, you know, the next year. It just prints wins so nicely, but I do need more Jedi, and I need my teams to be a little bit stronger, considering the teams that I'm facing. I'm facing a lot of guys who used to be in Kyber 1 who have been squished out because CG just keeps draining Kyber 1 for whatever reason. And so, yeah, this is kind of the weird mix. And then, of course, the Jedi Master Luke team combined with this Jedi Revan team I don't have enough Jedi, folks. And when I was looking at the leftover Jedi, I don't really have any Jedi that I really want. Like, we could get like Plo Koon up, but I don't really want to use him that much. Not in anything other than ships. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just kind of spread too thin on Jedi, which means something's got to give if we want some of these Jedi teams to succeed. But Jedi Master Luke, still a decent squad on offense, could really use a lifter unit or something, but even still, if you're facing a Galactic Legend, usually with Luke, you're going to want to add, like maybe Revan, definitely Jedi Knight Luke, and kind of mix and match. And then usually what ends up happening is you can lead a somewhat convincing, but not too convincing Basti lead team with just like the leftovers, and that's more like a desperation squad, but you can kind of mix and match it. So I like to keep all these Jedi teams on offense. The only problem is the Qui-Gon team I like to keep on defense, which, these are the fill-in squad or characters that I would really like to have elsewhere. So like I said, something's got to give. We'll see. We might experiment with this team being on offense a little bit this season too. I'm not sure. It's tough for me to want to change my defenses at all for a season on this account, just because I'm lazy. No, I mean, it's my alt. I don't have to scout or change my defense as much. And some people who recognize my account are like, oh, cool, I know exactly what he's placing. And then they're like, hey, by the way, do you want to change your defense? Like, we're facing each other. I know what your defense is. And I'm like, nope. And then I lose because I don't want to change it. So, hey, look, guys. Well, you can't look, but my virus protection is up to date, apparently. That's what that little chime was. So, we've got General Skywalker. I typically put this squad on defense. And I just rolled a 300% armor cron. It's like 325% armor cron. No protection on it, which is a shame, because they really liked protection. But all that armor is going to mess with people. At the end of the day, people are just going to use a Galactic Legend on it. But, it's nice to be able to force that instead of letting them, maybe with the new CLS team being able to count, like with Chupio, maybe you'll be able to take this squad out even with that kind of armor. I wouldn't want to risk it though, even though my relic levels are pretty sketch. The thing is, if my team can survive long enough for Rex to be able to execute someone, then you can Rex their team. Their team will be Rexed. So, the thing to keep in mind, folks, if you're facing a Rex team with CLS, then one thing you can do is have your CLS sometimes just hit Rex before his turn and take away his turn meter, even if General Skywalker's standing up. CLS can do a shift stance so that he can target whoever he wants, and then wipe out that turn meter to keep Rex from being able to do his Rexecute stuff. So this team, I'm going to consider using it on offense as well, depending on what kind of Rey teams my opponents are using, which, it's tough to say because I doubt I'll scout too much with this account, but this team can take out Rey teams decently. They just have to be the right comp, and you have to have a little bit of RNG, and you have to know what you're doing. I've done it a few times previously. It's kind of nice. You can also take down some Malgus teams as well. You got to be careful, though, because if they have too many relics, they're too thick, you can just die. Okay, so Admiral Raddus. I do have a Gear 12 K2SO now. That's new from last time. I think he was only Gear 11. The problem being, of course, you can't wear a Cron if you have a Gear 12 on here. And I've just never been able to muster up the wherewithal to be able to get Scarif Rebel Pathfinder up to Relic 5. So this team never has a good Datacron anyways. K2, he's an okay addition to this. Should probably throw the Zeta on him so he gets so much more protection. This is good. I think I've traditionally on this account kept it on defense because people do poorly against it, especially because if they try to use their Bad Batch against that Qui-Gon team, win or lose, they don't have Bad Batch to try to take out Raddus anymore. And this team doesn't hold on a super high level because usually the people I'm facing just have a ton of Galactic Legends and they can just bludgeon their way through without any issues. I would just recommend, guys, if you can get double tank on defense, if you want to put them on defense, do double tank. If you're going to keep them on offense, there's going to be a lot of teams that you can take down. Remember, you prevent revives from any Empire teams, so you can take down like some Iden teams even with this squad. You know, if you don't want to use Iden or Wampa on the Iden teams, if you want to take out Grand Inquisitor teams, for instance, it can work pretty nicely. Speaking of Grand Inquisitor and company, I'll have Reva for the final week of this season, but even without Reva, this team takes down a lot of Galactic Legends. It's a good off-meta team to be able to take down a lot of stuff. So I'll probably be, I don't know, once we have Reva, I might end up pushing Ninth Sister and Darth Vader into a Starkiller unit, so then I can start using an Emperor Palpatine Mara Jade duo that don't require Starkiller, especially if there's a lot of Rey teams out there that just aren't Starkiller-able. Not to mention my Starkiller is only Relic 5 and he doesn't hit hard at all. He's like a painted flower. I don't know what that even means, folks. I mean, painted flowers really don't do much damage because they're literally made of paint. So there is that. So that's just a strange metaphor, even to me. So this Mandalorian squad, I mean, here's the beauty of not having Lord Vader, guys. You don't have to feel guilty about using Maul to do all kinds of weird stuff. And so Maul, I wish I had him Relic 8. He'd do more damage, obviously. And remember, every Relic level for Maul, he gets to double dip because he gets extra health, which adds to his damage, and he gets offense, which adds to his damage, which might seem obvious, I suppose, unless you're General Grievous. And right now we have the Datacron for Canderous that lets you, first off, it gives the turn meter to people, and so I think I have it low. I think I have it situated so that Armor goes first, or maybe it's Bo-Katan now. So they'll gain 60% turn meter just because there's 3 Darkside characters, which means you can take down like a General Skywalker squad if you know what you're doing. This can work in once we get rid of the Candy Cron. Once that's gone, this whole team is going to wilt just a little bit, but this team is really strong. It'll take down Rey. It'll take down some versions of Supreme Leader Kylo. It takes down a lot of stuff. It's a lot of fun, guys. It's neat. All right. I don't know how else to tell you. So we have this Troopers team. Right now, they're kind of in their prime. For one last season, they get 100% turn meter if you have the right Datacron, and you just want to make sure that your Dark Trooper is a little faster than usual if you can, just so that, because he's the weakest, he's always going to be the weakest, the way his kit reads, because he only gets a quarter of the stats on him, and then he gets 4 stacks of himself. But that means he's the weakest, which means he gets all the turn meter, and he's not actually as slow as you might think. Most people just want to load him up with as much offense as possible, and so like my Dark Trooper, yeah, I'm like, speed him up, guys, make him fast, and then mine's not that fast. He's 280 under Veer's lead. Usually that's going to be a lot slower than your opponent. So if your opponent has a really fast team and they have the 20% turn meter cron with all Darkside characters, then your troopers might just be a little bit out of luck. I guess in some ways it'll be nice to go back to relying on Piet's speed, because that speed without turn meter boosts is a lot more impressive. 369 speed, pretty nice. 369, etc. Through the window. All right, so one of the things that I did, set 6, man, set 6 Datacrons had so many cool applications, especially for this squad. So that's why I worked really hard, actually. I just totally threw Jabba to the side. I was like, not today, sir. And, you know, he was like, whoa, someone called me sir, that is crazy. But I worked on Stark and Range Trooper, got him up to Relic 5 so that we could use good Datacrons on that team. And then same with General Grievous. Grievous was at Relic 5, and then the rest of them were not. I think I had relic 4 on Battle Droid, and then some relics on the other two, on the 2 tank ones, and then Newt, well, I think it was only gear 11. I had to work on a lot of these random characters, but the end result now is that we get to use a really cool Kron for at least one more season to be able to boost Grievous, and that every time someone attacks out of turn, a droid attacks out of turn, then they add target lock, and so B1 Battle Droid here just makes this team so crazy. I'm really excited to use it on offense this season. It killed a couple Galactic Legends last season. It beats a lot of teams, folks. If you have a modded right, go check out my Crash Course video if you want to see how to mod this team and use it. It's pretty fancy. Now, Mon Mothma, this team, so one of my favorite teams ever, guys. Just a lot of fun. Does a lot of really cool stuff. The problem is, it's hard to justify working on it on this account when it's like, well, I could get my Grievous squad up. Eventually, we're gonna need like my Nice Sister squad up for Marin, depending on how good Marin makes the team. Like, we're gonna have a lot of teams to work on, and trying to put gear on POW or Hoth Rebel Scout, it's kind of painful. And even though it's a utility squad, it does a lot of good stuff. It just isn't as good. Like, it just keeps getting pushed down on the hierarchy. Like, maybe I'm hoping that like Saw Gerrera comes in and bolsters this team, but until then I've been putting this squad on defense, honestly, and I hate that because I used to make fun of people who put this team on defense because it doesn't really do that much. Like, Iden just scoops it just destroys it so easily. But as you'll see if you watch any of my alt videos, or if you watch my live streams, whatever, on Twitch, then you'll see that this team I just need a filler. My defenses tend to be pretty weak, and because I'm going for efficiency for the most part, just trying to get one-shots on characters and trying to get a couple random holds on people, just trip people up to be able to, get a really high score, and my high score can beat their high score. I mean, obviously that's pretty simplistic, but I mean that's the only real strategy that can work, because people who want to place all their Galactic Legends on defense are going to really struggle against me. I can beat, like at last 5v5, I beat someone who placed all 7 Galactic Legends and Malgus. I one-shot every Galactic Legend and only had to 2-shot Malgus. And, I mean, I needed it though. My opponent did full clear me, just with less points, So I can outrace people who have really strong defenses. I can't really, I guess I don't care if some of my teams just get one shot. That's all. As long as I have the right other teams on defense. That's all, folks. That's it. You can watch the video for that, actually. It's out. It's here somewhere. It's in a playlist for Professor X or something like that. It's not too long ago. Okay, so the CLS team, so my one concession to set 7, folks, set 7 Datacrons, there's a lot of them that I would really like, and I might end up getting Vend or Chewie to Relic 7. I'm not sure, just because Relic 7 on Vend or Chewie is just kind of a good idea in general, just because you don't want them to die, but one way or another, and I do already have the Kron. We have the Chupio Kron, which means this team, it had a really good Kron for Han and Chewie anyways, which, let them take get an extra turns at the start, so Han get like 5 shots in a row, and Chewie got to assist on all 3 of them. It's, Chupio would assist on all 3. It's a very, very strong start, and I'm not totally convinced that the Chupio Kron is going to be better than that, but this team typically goes on defense for me, because if people don't use a GL, if they're using an off-meta team, I have them well enough modded and well enough Datacroned that this team is going to mess with people. It's gonna hurt people. It's going to kick him right in the nuts. This team does get a lot of holds, and I expect that to continue. If it's on defense, I'll put the Chupio Kron on. If I keep him on offense, then I'll debate between using the Chupio Kron or using the Scoundrel Kron from set 6. We'll just have to see. Now, we do have the Malgus squad here, and I'm not entirely... I want Talon for both of these teams, guys. So, as I said, I got Savage up to relics. I can only get him to 3 because I don't have any bronzium wiring, and I need to save my signal data anyways. But this team with the Datacron on Traya and on Savage makes this team pretty strong. I think if I end up facing a Darth Reva squad, or Darth Reva, what am I saying? Like Inquisitor Reva squad for the Inquisition, I will probably end up keeping Traya for offense just to see if I can take out the Reva squad with it, including I'll probably keep Savage as well. There's a lot of different Sith splits that you can do, however, and Talon here instead of Marauder would be nice, though. Talon here, where, you know, like Savage just, I mean, it's only Relic 3. If you can put more relics on him, it gets to be really tough to kill. And, you know, especially with Traya boosting all of their turn meters, well, Savage boosting everyone's turn meter, this team can be a whole huge mess. If you can make your Darth Nihilus to be the slowest, or not the slowest, I mean, he probably is the slowest, and that's not just of thought, but he's also, if you have him as the weakest, and that's just adding their health and protection up together, then if you put a 20% turn meter cron, he can go before your opponents go and force drain them and increase their cooldowns. And if they want to gamble, that, you know, I guess that's typically fine with me. This team is really good. I want to keep it on defense if I can, especially now that I can put a Datacron on them, because Savage, who's been gear 12 plus 0 for such a long time, I finally just worked up the gumption to upgrade him. So whether or not Talon or Marauder swap places, I mean, it would almost make sense, because then I could put a good cron on the Malgus squad, because it's Relic 5, Sith Marauder, but a lot of you will have a Relic 7 Sith Marauder anyways, if you have Sith Eternal unlocked. So one way or another, I do think that this team with Marauder is probably the best if you have all the right relics, if you have Relic 5 or higher on Marauder. Otherwise, those are my two Sith splits right now. So one of the interesting things about all the gear shifts that the CG has been going through and like giving us double the core gear and stuff is my resistance hero bros, who have traditionally only been gear like 10. I was managed to just get them to 12 without really costing me much gear at all. And then I do have Ben. So I don't have any Omicrons on him or anything. Maybe eventually I'll add one. I just don't have Rey. So I have Jedi Training Rey with Ben. And then, I mean, this team is still not great, folks. Like, I can't spend the gear to get Hero Finn faster with gear or whatever. I don't want to put better mods on him necessarily. I mean, eventually, yes, but this team isn't great. Maybe I could take Hero Poe off and put, I don't know, R2-D2 on there, but R2-D2 might be needed for the Jedi Master Kenobi team, like I've shown you guys before. So, the other piece of it, guys, is typically I've been putting Ben Solo on my Starkiller team. I have a Relic 0 Visas Mar that I've had her there for a while, a gear 13. But I wanted to use Ben Solo, but in a lot of ways, I think Ben Solo might be more helpful on this Jedi Training Rey team. With these gear levels, I might just mess with people enough to force them to either use a good enough team to one-shot it, or I might just be able to, well, I don't know. If I can force someone to use a decent team on here, then Visas, I wouldn't, the problem of course is I wouldn't get a Datacron. I probably should just try to get her to Relic 3 or something. I don't think I will though, frankly, and this is the other place that Kenobi wants to go, old Ben. Otherwise, I mean, you could use a few different characters, like Juhani, a lot of people use. The thing I like about him is, he does a few different awesome things. The best thing is his 2-turn ability block AoE. Super nice. Gets rid of turn meter. Does all sorts of cool stuff. And then when he dies, he boosts the whole team, which is sometimes necessary, given I only have a Relic 5 Starkiller. So this team, we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking, why I already put the effort into getting Visas up to gear 13. I don't know why I shouldn't just, I don't know, start using her a little bit. So we'll have to see. All right, we have Fennec here with. All right, here I guess these are my bounty hunter splits. So obviously we have a lot of these unique little diamonds here. They're special, and Fennec is like this Fennec comp is the one that I would use to take down a Lord Vader, assuming it's the type of Lord Vader you can take down. There's a few of them that it's like, well, that's a little dicey. We don't really want to risk it. But you want Beskar Mando here instead of Zam, even though it makes you slower. And I did. You'll note my Mando's been Relic 1 for like a year, something like that. And now I got him up to 3 just the other day, so that I can put at least low-level Datacrons on him if we want to. And he's a little more survivable, at least. So, anyways, if you want to take out Lord Vader, that's what you use Fennec for. If you want to take down something else, you can use Aura Lead. Remember, you have to situate your bounty hunters in a certain way to make sure that they are fast enough to get that snipe move out, the disintegrate from Mandalorian, on his very first turn, and you have to map it. I have a Faction Essentials that talks about how to clock your team. Just make sure, I mean, because Mando gains so much turn meter, and so does Bosk and Grief because of Mando, and Zam is also handing out a bunch of speed. You really have to do a lot of math, unfortunately. Once you get the math done and you have everyone clocked the way you want on their speed levels, then this team becomes a really nice asset, and you can kill a lot of teams. Because my Bosk, right now with Zam's giving about 70 speed, something like that. My Bosk is just under 400 speed, and you know that can kill like a dash team, for instance. And then, but the real limiting factor here is Grief, because he needs to be a little slower. So in reality, it's Grief at plus 70-ish from Zam, which puts him just under 400 as well. And you can go if you can disintegrate. I mean, it's just fun to be able to go in and you're like, all right, there's only one character I'm afraid of on that squad. I'll just go in, zap that one character, and we're good. And that's what you do. That's how you do. You don't get to wear a Datacron, though, because Zam is only gear 12. Need to work on Lord Vader comps, or for Lord Vader unlocks, apparently. Now, if you don't, folks, want to use your Bando team to kill Lord Vader, which, usually on this account, I'm kind of just locked into trying that, either using this team, or I can use troopers as well to take out a lot of Lord Vader teams. But I really like using, you can spread them out, or you can concentrate them. If you're pretty sure you're not going to run into a Lord Vader comp that you like, if you can beat Lord Vader with other teams, wonderful, good for you. Go forth and prosper. However, if you're not going to have that, or if you do have that, then you can put this team on defense or on offense. The dash with the auto revive from Vandor. You have the pre-taunt from IG-11. If you get someone close to dying, then Bando takes his bonus turn and puts you in damage immunity. Kuiil's just buffing the whole team. This team is kind of a monster these days. You got to look out for teams like this above one with Aura and Bosk and stuff, because they can just snipe out either dash or Bando or even just Vandor, depending on who they want to take out. I mean, the problem is it's a target-rich environment, so you kill one of them, the rest of the team might just kill this bounty hunter squad. So one way or another, though, this team is good on defense. It's great on offense too. And if you take it for offense, you can spread it out and use dash with Vandor with a few other lower level characters, or maybe like Nest, something like that. And then Bando with Kuiil and IG can go with a couple other characters, take out their own squad. So that's your choice. This team is good on defense or offense. Wampa, he womps. He's kind of good. It occurred to me the other day that, so they made Ahsoka Fulcrum in Territory Wars be able to have a full squad if you use the Cal Kestis Omicron. I'm wondering if one day we'll get the same for Wampa, and we can actually use Wampa with like a beast squad. Maybe we'll get like Rancor as well. You can just have like Wampa and Rancor and like the Diagna or Diagona, whatever they're called, and like a Gundark, all with like the Beast Tamer from the Book of Boba Fett or something. Be kind of fun. I don't know. just idly speculating during your valuable time here, folks. We're getting to the kind of the dregs of it, but here's the thing. Iden with these trash characters still just take out so much. She protects them really well, and I mean, you probably don't, like a really strong CLS squad, you're gonna cringe the whole time. You probably just lose, because the only real source of damage is Iden, and I would love to get the rest of these up to relics. Eventually I'll get them up to at least gear 11, you know, like that'll be good. You know, we'll have a good time then, son. But we're right now, this team takes out Mon Mothma, takes out a few other things. You don't want to put it on defense. It will just get wampud for max banners in like 1 minute flat. If you have this low of relics. If you want to put relic 8 on all of them, then sure, put them on defense, I guess. Like put Shore Trooper with them too, though, just to annoy people, just to make your opponent feel bad about themselves. All right. Now, if you have the Enfys Nest Kron, you probably you probably want relics on, or more relics on Kira and Enfys Nest, of course. But even if you don't, you know, Kira can go on the team, or you know, sometimes Nest just solos it. Yeah, it's a pretty good squad. If I had rolled the Enfys Nest Kron, I'm in set 7, I might have been persuaded to get her to 7, but I just can't right now, folks. Can't afford it. She doesn't do enough even at Relic 8, but she can still solo teams. Sometimes, though, I'll put her with, you know, we'll just throw her with Dash and Vandor, and then we have another source of decent damage and stuff. I mean, now we're just like, gosh, okay, here's some contrived weird squads. We have the Chief Chirpa Ewok team. The only reason I even mention this is I have the Omicron on here. I don't believe that it was a good purchase. I would take it back in a heartbeat if someone's like, could you like pick one Omicron that you can just have back? 100% Chirpocron is gone. I should probably just keep this team for offense. I could probably find something that they kill at some point in this season, but I put them on defense so that they get slaughtered easily. The thing is, if you make your Peplu faster, which I don't want to, guys. I don't have the right mods for it anymore. But if you make him faster, you surprise a lot of people. People don't realize that his unique gives him 25% extra speed at the start, and you can get him decent speed anyways. This is not decent speed, but if you can get him up to 250 speed or something like that, then at least you get another 25% on top of that, and then you get another 30 speed from Chirpa on top of that, and people just don't expect you to have a 400 speed Ewok team that has a ton of turn meter. If you want to do that, awesome. You can also get Peplu another 20 speed with speed sets and getting him up to gear 13. So this team can actually be decent. It can have some teeth. It's just a lot of kind of worthless characters to work on, to have like to be like, hey, surprise, you'd probably be able to beat me anyways with like a solo nest, even if everyone is relic 7. So eventually, I mean, if we get General Leia as the next Galactic Legend, I'm guessing that Wicket at least will be a requirement character to get up to like relic 7 or whatever, because you know you'll have that. My Night Sisters team. So one of the things that I have truly always loved, folks, is having a really weak zombie, because the zombie keeps dying, and it boosts Old Daka and Asajj really, really nicely. And you don't have to worry about relics on anyone except for Daka, because you want her to be thick enough to survive all the hits. And then I do like Talia better in general, and I actually use her a lot on this team sometimes as well. I use her a lot sometimes, but a gear 12 Spirit as opposed to like a gear 10 Talia, it's tough to, like, Spirit's really nice as the 5th. So your mileage may vary, but I do like this team. I like that Talzin's weak, so she just dies over and over again. You just want these two to ramp up, and it'll be kind of sad if we get that new Marin Night Sisters character, and she does make this team really strong. I'll have to put relics on probably a lot of these characters just to make that team stronger, and it's been fun. Like this will kill like General Grievous squads, most of them, unless they have a really good Datacron. It'll kill, like if you're desperate, it'll kill sometimes like a Jedi Training Rey team, or even like a lot of these First Order squads they can take down. You can take down. You got to be cautious of Hux and his shutdown of turn meter gain, of course. But yeah, you can take down First Order. You can take down Grievous. A few other cool team comps. I really like this team. CLS if you're truly desperate, and probably not with like the Chupio Cron or any of the really good Crons, but this team will take down a CLS team sometimes. You have to get lucky. They're certainly not. It's like a 40% chance to do it, but if you're desperate, 40% starts sounding decent actually. Alright, I have my First Order squad. Obviously, I don't have Supreme Leader Kylo, but I think this is the best version of this team. If you don't have Supreme Leader Kylo, you can run this team on defense or on offense. Sometimes you can use Hux Lead instead, whatever you want to do, guys. Man, Hux is actually kind of close to gear 13, man. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I kind of want to just pull the trigger here. I gotta save gear for Reva. I don't remember what the gear she requires is. Maybe she doesn't need this piece. Just like the hobbits don't need their legs, right? So here's I've called it before. I've called it Build-A-Bear before, where you just build a team around like Watt and someone who does damage. So, like maybe you take a tank here instead. If you need like a shore trooper, you can throw him in here instead of Gideon. Maybe you take Gideon and shore trooper and throw out Second Sister. But the idea is, you make the team kind of cater to the team that you need to beat. And right now I have Darth Vader just kind of available to do weird stuff with, and Watt. Watt will probably end up going on the Mandalorian squad in the next 5v5 season, but for now he can kind of swim around, do his own thing despite his weird suit. He can swim, I'm sure. If you just threw him in the water, like sharks might eat part of him. He's like so made of metal, they probably wouldn't love it. But I mean, the squad doesn't have. I don't have a relic. Well, relic 0 on Thrawn, a gear 12 on Gideon. Obviously, just mix and match. I plan on using this on offense at some point, folks. My Bad Batch. I have Echo fast, and the rest of them are just not good. Yeah, 353 speed, so I can maybe take down like Qui-Gon teams that have slower characters than they should. Yeah, just have to make sure that you bridge once you dispel things. Like if you're up against a Qui-Gon team, Echo will dispel 5 foresights, which is like 25% turn meter, which is probably enough to get your tech up. Remember, he in 5v5 he's plus 10 speed if you put the Zeta on, folks. People sneer at that Zeta. They're like, it's only like 6 speed or 10 speed depending on 3v3 or 5v5, but it makes a big difference. 258 becomes 268, and then once you use that to calculate turn meter boost, it can add up, folks. It can really add up. I won't pretend like he is the best modding either, but I mean, everyone's just gear 11 or less, except for my Relic 0 Echo. And this team, you guys will watch me take down a full Relic 7 First Order team or something. Like, you can take down Geos, you can take down a lot of stuff. In 3v3, I use them pretty seldomly. That's a fun rhyme. But in 5v5, you can really, in 5v5, you can keep your squad alive. It's pretty fun. So, Geos, I just put them on defense because they don't. I don't like using them on offense. They just kind of melt against things. They get bad banners if you don't know what you're doing. And frankly, Geos have always been one of the more boring teams to me. I'm not saying that they're absolutely garbage, but they're kind of just absolutely garbage. I'm curious to see if Trench is going to make me want to work on him and more Geos. I know that we just got the Poggle Omicron. I don't think I'm going to play that, but if Trench goes really well with Geos, that might spark me out of my lethargy and disdain for them. We'll have to find out. Alright, 2 more teams left, folks. We have the Akbar team. Here are 2 more Omicrons that I kind of regret. We have the Akbar and Princess Leia ones. Here's the other thing, folks, is if you have Sana, you can use her with Stormtrooper Han and then like Cara Dune to just rip her asunder from that Mon Mothma squad. And you know, the Ursana team is going to be a lot better than this Akbar team. The Akbar team I use on offense sometimes. In 3v3 we kill like Adrad teams that don't have a tank. Otherwise, this squad is still, like, even with 2 Omicrons, it's still kind of desperation mode. Yes, it would be better if I put Relic 5 on everyone, but what? Who has the relics for such things? Like Captain Han Solo at Relic 5? I don't think so. I would rather not. And Home 1, unless we get like Red 5 and that fleet becomes really strong and meta, then like Akbar at Relic 3 is probably more than he deserves, frankly. It almost feels like a trap to put him there at Relic 3. But you can put at least a low-level Datacron on that squad. Now, finally, I have Sortie. I got her up to Gear 12 because Gear 12 is easy on the nowadays. Like, you can do that. CG has done a good job of giving us Gear 12 on everyone, basically, and then getting them to Gear 13 is still as much of a pain as usual. So, I do have Sortie here at Gear 12. I wish I could get her up to Relic 7 and use her Datacron. That thing is so brutal. You have to prioritize folks, and she's not as valuable as putting higher relics on Jabba teams. Putting relics, that's the other character I really need to work on, is Droidica. I put the Omicron on, but then my team can't use a Datacron, and because it's only Gear 12, I need to get 13 and, you know, at least Relic 5 on him so that he can protect my guild as best he can. So in GAC, however, that's like a Territory Wars, this Droidica just goes with Grievous, but in GAC, you just want all of your leftover droids. And I don't have great droids. This is a desperation-only team for me at this point. But I think this is pretty good for a desperation-level team. Remember that Sortie doesn't get as many cool things on her comp if she has a Separatist, though it's not that restrictive. It's not nearly as restrictive as if you added it. Like, there's a few other things you could add that make it worse, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But good excuse to get your IG-88 to more relics than just 5, because frankly, like Relic 7 or 8 can really make that your fleet a lot stronger, your fleet defense, etc. But anyways, folks, we're out of teams here. Lots. We're less than 50 minutes. This is probably a good time to stop. So I hope this explanation and discussion of these teams helps you. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. What are some teams that I missed? Hopefully, guys, one of the reasons I got Resistance Hero Finn and Poe to Gear 12 is I'm slow farming them, so it's going to take a while, but I'm going to get at least some version of the Zori squad up and running, because it's just too good to ignore, frankly. Even if we're not going to go for Rey, it's probably worthwhile to get a few of these really strong Resistance characters up and running. I might just keep these guys for offense too. We'll just have to see. One way or another, folks, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zereth prevails. I even did this while I'm kind of sick today, folks. I'm gonna go to bed. Why am I up? Why am I even making this video? Where am I? Whoa.